Are you ready to think big and act bold? Then you are in the right place. This is Innovative Entrepreneurs, the podcast that will bring you the stories, insights, and tips from some of the most successful and innovative entrepreneurs in the world. I am your host, Erica Bailey, and I am here to help you start, scale, and sustain your own entrepreneurial journey. Let's get started. I'm truly grateful for those who follow and listen and learn, hopefully from these guests. And today I have a special guest who's joining me all the way from Barcelona. I'm going to have to admit, this is truly an honor. Mark Gray is originally from Ireland and has been transforming lives since 2016 as a personal trainer. After spending 8 years in London, Mark now runs his coaching business, which is called the Paradigm Project, and we're going to dive deep into that. He helps ambitious entrepreneurs torch body fat, build muscle, and most importantly, live pain-free. Mark's holistic approach goes beyond workouts and nutrition, focusing on healthy habits and sleep, stress management, and overall well-being. And if you listen to me in the past, you'll see a trend here. We talk about this. And so I'm very excited to have Mark here to share his opinions. He's passionate about helping other entrepreneurs prioritize their health, leading to more energy, confidence, and success in their business. So let's dive into Mark's journey and learn how we can all live healthier, stronger lives. Welcome, Mark. Thank you so much for joining me. What time is it there in Barcelona? You just told me.
It is 10:41 p.m. So yeah,
I'm honored.
Late-ish.
Late-ish.
Yeah, hence these funky looking glasses.
That's actually what we're going to ask. What are those funky looking glasses?
So these are blue light glasses. So they block out the blue light, which I am absolutely covered by at the moment. Obviously, you can see all these funky lights behind me. But yeah, you've probably heard of it before. Obviously, screens at night are bad for you. Or not bad for you, sorry. They disrupt your sleep and can negatively impact your sleep. So these help just reduce the blue light that comes from your devices. So these things here. So yeah, it helps you get a deeper sleep. So I've been using them for years and I absolutely swear by them. I can't watch TV in the evening without them. It feels a bit odd. At the weekend I did because I flew back to England. I didn't have my glasses with me and it feels a bit weird. I'm the sort of person that tries to have all the lights off by 9 p.m. Much to my fiance's annoyance sometimes, but she knows what she got herself into. But yeah, they're awesome. And for anyone that kind of uses computers and phones and is on their emails at 9 o'clock, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, but these are awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I had a feeling that's what they were, but they look so cool. You started your journey as a personal trainer in London back in 2016. Can you share with me what inspired you to actually pursue a career in fitness and how that evolved into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, of course. Well, I did my degree in business and sports. So I went to uni, got 2 degrees. And during my last year of study, we were given the opportunity to do personal training as a course. And like every other PT, I did my 6-week course, thought I was the man, and then moved over to London a year after I graduated. And to be honest, I didn't really have much interest in being a PT. I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. I was 23 when I moved to London. Yeah, 23, yeah. And just didn't have a clue. So I think I've told this story before, but how I became a PT was just completely it was just completely random. I put it into a lot of luck. Went and got this job, and it felt like something out of Wolf of Wall Street, and it was selling credit cards in London.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm an introverted person. Back then, I was extremely introverted. I needed alcohol to get me going as a student, or sports. And yeah, I went and did this marketing job selling credit cards on the side of the road in a really busy London street, and I did it for like an hour. And then I realized this wasn't for me. So I slowly just backed away from the rest of the team and went to home, went to get the train in King's Cross and walked past the gym, Anytime Fitness, and it said PT wanted. So I walked in and asked, goes, "What's this?" He goes, yeah, we've got a job available for PT, 0 hours, you work yourself, you get the clients. It's like, cool, I'll have it. And then that was it. Yeah, that was the start of my career as a PT. I haven't really looked back since then. And then...
So you said, all right, I'll take the job. And they just said, okay.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Showed them my certificates. And that was it, yeah. Because the way it is with most PTs in England anyway, is you work on 0 hour contracts. So like they don't lose anything as a business. You're giving them your rent every month to use their gym, and then it's just on you to get clients.
Got it. Okay.
Which was huge for me because I didn't actually have any money. I didn't have money to pay the rent for the gym, so I was backing myself to get good quick, which happened, which was nice. But yeah, so that was my first few years, just trying to keep my head above water, or first year or so, just training anyone and everyone. And then as I got better as a coach and I started developing my skills and expanding my ways of thinking, I ended up moving to Equinox, which they have in America, I know, but they also have a few gyms in England, just based in London.
Yeah, I know that.
And they would be the premier gym in the whole of Britain, or one of them anyway. And I got myself in there, and in that gym as well, and before that as well, I started to kind of get more of a reputation in the gyms as being one of the better coaches. And that's not me being just big-headed. That's it was in the gym I left in Clapham, in London. And the same in Equinox. So then you get trusted with kind of higher clientele or people that want a certain level of service. And a lot of them are like entrepreneurs, people that run their own businesses, need a certain level of kind of etiquette as such as well. It's not just a run-of-the-mill coach. You need to know how to talk to people. And then just being amongst these people, I started to kind of see a bit of a trend. And that was how a lot of them were very successful, but they had also just kind of sacrificed, a lot of them had sacrificed their health, or a big chunk of it, to get to where they were. I know that's just super common amongst entrepreneurs. And then it was just through that, I was like, you know what, there's a big group of people that need a coach that has their best interests in heart. And I said this in a previous podcast as well, is like, people can get the wrong impression of when you target a certain demographic that might be more like financially stable or successful in another market. And that can give off the wrong impression. It's like, oh, he's only after it. He's targeting the people with the deep pockets. But it's not true. It's like, I have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they've told me they've been ripped off, or they've had super bad experience with coaches in the past. And then that has stopped them from wanting to exercise or live a healthier life. I definitely put myself down as one of the good guys when it comes to this industry. And I'll have a lot of my clients back me up with that. And then that's why I decided to kind of niche down in helping like entrepreneurs or high level professionals, is because they also need someone that has their best interests in heart, regardless of financial status or bloody social status, whatever it is. You still deserve to have someone with your best interests. And yeah, so that's why I'm here.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. I was taking notes actually while you were talking, because I just kind of brought up some more questions. So starting off, you said after uni, aka college, you had no idea what you were going to do. My question for you is, how common do you think that is? Do you think most people at 22, 23, even though they just graduated with degrees, know what they want to do?
I think a lot of it has to do with the degree itself. Like at the weekend, for instance, we were overseeing some friends in England, and 3 of them were nurses. So they knew what they were getting into with their degree. But like, I did a business degree. I did like marketing and all these other subjects, and then a little bit of sports in that as well. So when I left, like, my degree has never got me anywhere as such, as in like, because I've never worked for anyone as well. So that's been one of the reasons. I've never had to go to someone and say, here's my degree, as like validation or for a reference for a job. But I think now it's a bit different. Like, I finished studying when I was in 2015. I think it was 2014. So it's 10 years now, geez.
You said you finished studying at age 14?
No, I said in 2014, sorry.
Oh. I was like, you seriously graduated college at 14? You slut?
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Got to be around the same. No, you're younger than I am.
Yeah. But I think it was a bit different back then. I think it's nowadays you can get a degree and you can be finished by 21, 22 and then just go do something completely different because there's just so many more opportunities at the moment for anyone, regardless of what industry or walk of life you have. All you kind of need to have now is a passion. And you don't even have to have a passion at that, and you can just do some wild things with your career. But yeah, I do. It is a bit crazy to think that you can, or they can put you in a box at like 21, 22 when you finish studying and goes, right, do this, try and do this thing for the rest of your life, or do this, which just doesn't happen. I've been very fortunate because I've got into a career that I've loved, and I've just spent the last like 8-9 years trying to get really, really good at it, and I really enjoy it. So I've always said I don't have a job, I've just got a hobby that pays well. Yeah, but to answer your question, I'd say it's probably more common now than it was before. I think people, and also because there's so many more jobs, there's so many more things you can do, especially now with AI. There's a million and one other things that you can do. So, yeah, hope that's somewhat answered that.
Oh, it was a perfect answer, actually, especially since I just threw it on you. All right, my next one. What transferable skills do you think you got from college? I mean, your degree is different than what you're doing now. What do you think you took from that, which is really helping you succeed as an entrepreneur?
The first thing that comes to my mind is probably not what any of my lecturers would have said.
I don't care what anybody else says. I ask this question to anybody else.
Because had a bit of a reputation when I was a student for being like a bit of a messer, and just we like to drink, go out, party. But I think I still played sports all the way through. I still did my training, but discipline is definitely one of them. Is one of those skills. But like I said, if you ask my lecturers, they might not say I was too disciplined because I missed a fair chunk of my classes. But when I left home at 18 and then went and lived and studied straight from 18. So you go from being at home where mum cooks all my food, cleans all my clothes, to then having to move 4 hours up the country and then kind of be a bit self-sufficient. And I did have to get up in the morning to go to class, but my mum wasn't there telling me to do it. I had to do that sort of stuff myself. You do that for a few years, going to classes, playing sports. It teaches you discipline. And now I think I'm very disciplined. So definitely that was one of the things that I did learn in a roundabout way, or something that I've developed. And years of sports as well has taught me that. But yeah, I'd say, a roundabout way of discipline.
I think that's a great answer. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So my next question is, do you know what a wellness program is?
I am very certain I do. Is that in regards to, say, like a business, or like corporate, that sort of stuff? Like they run wellness programs for their clients. I mean, their employees. Yeah.
So that's what my master's thesis was on. Basically wellness programs in the workplace. And this was, I'm not going to age myself, but it was a while ago. And my question for you is, so typically wellness programs have like education, maybe they offer, weight loss challenges. What is the importance, in your opinion, for businesses to offer some sort of personal training services to their staff? And how do you think that would include or improve the overall
performance, productivity?
Yes, thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah. Like, this is something that I've wrote one of my whiteboards. Is there's just an idea I was coming up with, is like, how could that be something I possibly do in the future? Like maybe some sort of consulting for businesses in terms of like programs, or develop my own signature wellness program, because it's something I'm really interested in, because I know from my own experience of just me personally, and then with my clients, just the impact it does have on things like productivity and energy and confidence and decision making and all that sort of stuff. And then the fact that you negate things like lower back pain and all that sort of stuff, which massively impacts businesses, and God, the amount of money it costs companies each year in like sick pay and other things. There's a huge benefit to having it in. So I think it should be a non-negotiable for every single company. I think it should be one of your main things you have. And it goes without saying, the better you look after your employees, the better they can perform, and also the more enjoyment they're going to get out of work. But yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I think every company should have it near the top of their priority list, and then every 6 months or every year have people come in, talk to their employees. This is something I'm trying to get into at the moment, is talks and seminars for businesses. And yeah, I just think I think there's a massive opportunity for businesses if they're not doing something like that. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to your employees. And if they're fighting fit and they know the value of getting enough sleep and managing their stress and eating well and looking after themselves and building up muscle strength and that sort of stuff, it's only going to have a positive impact on your business. So yeah, no brainer in my eyes.
Yeah, well, the statistics actually showed exactly that. And back when I did it 10, 15 years ago, right? When I did my thesis, I think I interviewed people at Honeywell. This was in Arizona, Honeywell, Google, and they had gyms on site, and they had somebody who came in and worked on fitness plans, dietary plans. And it proved, and I have to go back and look at the percentage, and I'm sure we can find it in a second, but it proved to increase productivity and overall well-being of the staff. The numbers are amazing. So I'm glad you agree, and I'm glad that I was right that many years ago.
Good on you. Kudos.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so the Paradigm Project. Talk to me about this. Isn't like the butterfly effect, is it?
No. No, I like the word. Yeah. I like the word. There's a bit of meaning to it. Obviously, project that's how I see people's body health and fitness. It's a project. It's not a 12-week thing. It's not a 3-month thing. It's your life thing. So it's a project, something you work on. I've been training and working out in the gym for almost 2 decades. I'd say I played sports all my life. So, and I'm still finding things to work on, improve on, things I want to get better at, things I'm not so focused on. So it is a long-term project. And Paradigm is obviously somebody's way of thinking, and you're just how you view something as such. So the thinking of this was, I want to get people that have a certain way of thinking and change it towards a more health and fitness focused. So that's the kind of premise behind it. But I help, like I said, entrepreneurs, high-end professionals, just take back control of their health. As I said earlier on, a lot of them lose it in their kind of entrepreneurial endeavors, and sometimes they get to a position where they've just absolutely destroyed their body. And it's not because they've been in the gym, and it's not like they've been running marathons and all that sort of stuff. It's just that they've completely neglected their health. And I get it. The thing is, I never go at it with a viewpoint of you shouldn't have done this, is because, like I said, a lot of the people I've worked with or just spoke with have achieved amazing things. So you can't fault them for that, but it does come at a cost. And I'm just trying to get people to realize that you can have both. And actually, if you are selfish enough to put your health above other things in your life, then that's actually the most unselfish thing you can do. Is that if you can be selfish with your health, it just positively impacts everything else in your life. So you'll make more money, your business will be better, your family will be taken care of, you'll have more freedom with how you move and think and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, long story short, that's just kind of what I try to teach. And I don't like using the word empower, but yeah, empower my clients.
Okay. So your Paradigm Project. Now, earlier you said you want to help anyone, but why did you focus on entrepreneurs specifically as your target audience? Or what unique challenges do business owners and entrepreneurs face? Yeah,
and they definitely do provide unique challenges. And to be honest, you can find any sort of demographic and you'll find unique challenges in that. If you were to work with nurses or healthcare professionals, you'd find big unique challenges with that. You work with new moms, whatever it is. And I didn't intentionally pick this demographic and this niche.
Okay.
It's just kind of how I just kind of fell into it. So as I progressed through my career, and at one stage I was working in between 2 gyms, and instead I was working in Equinox, just happened to be that like 90% of my clients were just entrepreneurs. They all like own their own. I think like right now at the moment, probably 90% of my clients own businesses. And yeah, and that's just how I just kind of realized one day that this is who I work with. And it's obviously no coincidence. This is just the kind of clientele that I attract, and then the type of clientele that I'm very good at keeping. Like I've had clients for 3, 4, 5 years.
Well done.
Well, thank you. And I've always said when I worked in a gym, like I could train anyone and I could always come down to their level. So if they were like a quiet client, I would know how to speak to them, or I'd have like a super energetic client, I'd know how to speak to them. If I was training just your average Joe that might have like been an intern at an office, I could work with them. Or if I was training someone that was worth £100 million, I could train them. So I've always been like, I've always backed myself being quite good like interpersonally.
Okay.
So I think that kind of helps because I just tend to get along or know how to speak or just kind of talk, to these people that are very used to like talking to extremely intelligent people much more intelligent than me, or dealing with high level deals and businesses and all this sort of stuff. So the last thing they want in their life is a coach that just doesn't understand what they're kind of doing on a day-to-day basis or understands what they need, and also a coach that doesn't ask them for stuff, which I know I've spoken to clients before in the past, and they've had coaches just ask them for things because they're like, or keep asking them for favors and help with this and that and that. Never ask my clients for anything. Yeah, because I'm not there to ask things. But and that's another thing that I said earlier on about why do I work with that? Why do I work with entrepreneurs? And that was like because they need a coach that has their best interest in heart. But a lot of coaches, and the fitness industry is full of crap. Not all crap, but like, and you ask any like well-respected coach in the industry and they'll say the same, because there's no standards in it. There's no like, you have to do this to be in this, where like if you're an accountant, you have to be a chartered accountant, or if you're a doctor, you have to have your doctor qualification, all this sort of stuff, lawyer. There isn't that in the personal training, in the fitness industry. You can just rock up and just say, I'm a PT now, and train people. So
wow. I mean, you're dealing with their bodies from head to toe. You would think you need some sort of like anatomy classes and certifications. Just like wow, I didn't know that.
You do in the States to a certain, I know you do, but in England and Ireland you don't. And like my qualifications are from the States, so I did my qualifications in England, but then I redid them with the National Academy of Sports Medicine in America, and it was a lot different in terms of what you have to do to get certified. But in England and Ireland, there's no qualifications. And to be honest, nowadays, because of TikTok and Instagram and social media, you just have to look a certain way, and then you can just be selling a program. You get 18-year-olds that have been in the gym for a year, and then all of a sudden they're online coaches. So you don't need qualifications now.
Yeah, well, I think people just need to do their research, go beyond TikTok and Instagram, right? So you were training at Equinox. Are you still training there? Do you travel to gyms and work with other people? Like, what does your coaching look like? Yeah,
no, I haven't been in a gym since COVID. So COVID put me online. So I was in gyms. I was in Equinox for I was only in there for a year. But yeah, and then when COVID hit, I had a chance to go back, and then I just felt like, nah, it's not for me anymore. So I just took it all online, and I haven't stepped or looked back since. I'd love to be in the gym. Don't get me wrong. If I had the opportunity and it came along, I'd love to work in a gym again, or own a gym, because I just love that person to person element of just working with people and just, So I do miss that part of it. But no, nowadays it's just all online. So I work with all my clients online. I've got a few clients I train over Zoom, but but most of my clients now are through my online coaching business, which is what I just spoke about a few minutes ago. And that's just a different kind of service. But it's like personal training in a package, but I don't actually do the sessions with them.
Interesting. So your audience can be all over the world.
Yeah, which is another reason why I did it. That's part of the reason why I'm here at the moment in Spain, is because I've had the ability to travel. Whereas before I was just in a gym. So I could only stay in London or find somewhere else, but kind of hard because you got to go move somewhere else and build up your whole business again from scratch. But yeah, so who knows, maybe one day I'll find myself back in a gym, but for now it's all online. So I would say COVID was bad. Obviously it was awful, but I had some good positives out of it in terms of business anyway.
I think a lot of people did. One of my other guests, his name is Ron Koningsberg. We're doing a 3-part sales series. Anyway, he told me that in 2022, these numbers could be skewed a little bit, 24% of Americans filed a non-exempt employee tax return, which means that they didn't have a JOB, right? They were contractors, own their own business. He said by 2027, 50% of Americans are going to be self-employed. Wow. And that blew my mind. And I think that it's because of COVID, all of these individuals realized that they could step out of their box, and you have to do something different. You have to face challenges and pivot. And yeah, it sucked, but it's mindset. Do we sink into this challenge? Do we sink into this hole and just hide from the chaos? Or do we, bloom like a lotus and rise out from the mud? And I think that's the direction I'm seeing, especially ages, I'd say 26 to 42 is what I'm seeing. Those are the ones that are saying, you know what? I can do something for myself. I want to have that freedom, right? We all worked it up. I was virtual before it was cool, just saying. But we all worked online, most of us at least. And it just changed our whole viewpoint of what we can accomplish as individuals and not having to be confined to, a cubicle, for example. I'll use that as my example. What do you think about what I just said?
No, I think you're 100%. Yeah, you're spot on. I think it's always because people realize that when I mentioned this earlier on about like people with the degrees and that sort of stuff, is that there's just so many opportunities now. So you can now travel halfway across the world and still do your job. I know so many people that are traveling around the world, kind of like nomads, but still doing their job just in all different parts of the world, which is kind of unheard of like 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, to be honest. I didn't know people that were doing that. No. You obviously had the odd outlier, but now it seems like everyone and their dog is doing it. So
they have the courage to, right? Typically it was the upper echelon classes that were able to do that because their businesses worked for them. They didn't work for their business. I think people are finding more courage in themselves, that they are able to go out and work in a foreign country and enjoy something new. I mean, I've worked on the beach from my iPhone. And, it's a blessing to have that opportunity. And I think, again, it goes back to mindset. People are finally recognizing their value and their capabilities, and they're utilizing those while still living their life. I think it's beautiful. If I didn't have a horde of humans, I would do the same thing. Oh, goodness. So your approach of coaching, you were saying, Mark, that it goes beyond just the workouts and the nutrition, emphasizing healthy habits. But let's talk about sleep. Sleep is a big problem. And especially here in America, there are so many people who have depended on sleep medication in order to get them through the night. We're now finding that medications like Ambien are actually tied to early onset dementia. So how do we, who are typically drinking caffeine right before bed, but still trying to sleep and, rustling and watching TV, like what are some steps I could take? So I'll give you an example. I am exhausted by 8 o'clock, but I'm taking care of all the kids and trying to get them to bed with my husband. And then I get to bed and I roll over and I put on my iPad and I watch a show. Like, what could I do differently? And in my head, I know my own answer, but what could I do differently immediately and long term to help my sleep patterns.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when I talk to people about this sort of stuff, it's almost like they answer the question already, like they know the answers to it. But yeah, the first one I would say is you need to see the value of it first, so then you prioritize it. So you need to kind of get a bit more of a deep understanding of why you need to sleep, the value of sleep, and obviously what it does for you. I think it gets lost on a lot of people that just see sleep as one of those things. Just every day I go to sleep and that's it. Not knowing like why you go to sleep and then what happens when you sleep. Like all your restoration, vast majority of it's done when you sleep. So you need to value it, see the value in it first, and then you can prioritize it.
Okay. So help me figure out the value.
Obviously, what like you're talking then about benefits. So the benefits of sleep.
Yes.
Obviously, you get deeper. Like sleep is you release the vast majority of your growth hormone when you're asleep. Growth hormone is responsible for like your skin, your muscles, your teeth, your eyes, all that sort of stuff. It's the stuff that keeps your body young as such. The more growth hormone you have, the stronger and the better you're going to feel. And that's just from a restoration viewpoint. But sleep is massively important for things, and this I'll relate this to people, to entrepreneurs, because obviously that's the topic of the show. But if you are saddled with making very important decisions consistently, you need to be able to sleep, because that impacts your cognitive function the next day, your ability to think clear, be more productive. And when you sleep properly, you do those things at a higher click. You're going to be more productive. You're going to be better at doing those sorts of things. Like I could list 101 different benefits of sleep. If you don't sleep enough, you don't get good enough quality sleep, your ability to like burn body fat, for instance, that's impeded. Your ability to build muscle and get stronger and reduce your pain, that can be negatively impacted as well. So all these things, your stress levels, they will more than likely be a little bit higher. You'll be more anxious. You'll be just not as nice of a person to be around the next day. That will negatively that will negatively impact like your relationships with your spouse or your kids and that sort of stuff. So then you start to see like the true impact and benefits of getting enough good quality sleep. But the thing is, I always say good quality sleep. I never say get enough sleep. It's because there's a difference between sleep and then quality sleep. So you can be in bed for 8 hours, you can lie there and you think you've got 8 hours sleep, when in matter of fact you've got 5 hours sleep, or you've got 5 hours of good sleep, 2 hours of like crap sleep, and then 1 hour of you just lying there thinking you're asleep but you're not, you're just in bed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so like if you want to change that, you just have to make a plan. So it's the same as anything, business, health, bloody, you want to get a wife or a husband, you got to have a plan. And the same goes for your sleep. Like, so like the perfect example of that is me at the very start with these things. It's like I wear them because I'm doing it not just to look cool, is because I want to get a better night's sleep. In front of me, I have these these two things here. They're magnesium. So I'm going to take them as soon as we finish this. And that's to help me get a better night's sleep.
Oh.
Now, magnesium is such an amazing supplement when it comes to sleep. Not just, it's amazing for your muscles and your cognition, I think, but it's just amazing for your sleep. Yeah, I've had a lot of clients that have struggled with sleep and then I introduced them magnesium. Now, it's obviously different from person to person. Yeah. But magnesium has been shown to be very, very beneficial for sleep. You take it like 30 to 60 minutes before you need to go to bed, and it will help you get a deeper sleep.
Much better than taking a melatonin.
Yeah, I've actually got that beside me as well.
Yeah.
they're over there.
Yeah, and I've heard now that even melatonin, especially for children, is causing problems. Okay, so good sleep. Yeah. So you say it's not how long you sleep, but it's how good you sleep. So should you be sleeping a certain amount of time? And what do you mean by good sleep? Like, what does our brain do when we're
so obviously there's been that thing of 8 hours sleep, just like 10,000 steps, 8 hours sleep. Those kind of like gold standards. Now, sleep differs from person to person, and it differs. And then from that individual itself, it will vary from day to day, depending on your exertions that day, not just physically, but mentally as well. If you've had a particularly like tough day, you've made loads of decisions, maybe you've had quite a stressful day of meetings, and you've had something to do with a family member or kids, and then you've had a workout, and then you've had a particularly active day as well. All those sorts of things will result in you needing more sleep.
Okay.
And that's where the awareness comes as well, and then you value in your sleep, because it's not just a case of you're going to sleep and you're saying, right, I'm just going to get 6 hours, 7 hours. You need to have that awareness to go, do you know what, maybe I need to get an extra half an hour. Now, I know that's not possible a lot of the times, but then it goes to, as in, sorry, you can't wake up half an hour later. So maybe I have to go to bed half an hour earlier, and then that impacts your decisions. So instead of grabbing your iPad and going to bed, you grab a paper book that maybe knocks you out half an hour earlier, because sleeping can make you quite tired. So things like that. And I like to watch TV most night, like every night, and I never tell anyone not to watch TV or like do that sort of stuff, because I think it's important to kind of wind down. Like I like a bit of crap TV or that sort of stuff, just because, yeah, we enjoy it.
We enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly that. But if it's a case of like bringing an iPad to bed or being in bed with your phone, it's a thing of you have to kind of pick one or the other. As such as like, if I put my phone down half an hour earlier, I'll get a good night's sleep. But if I stay on my phone scrolling for half an hour, that's going to impact my ability to sleep. So little things like that is just you kind of making a decision. And then they're the little things though that add up throughout your week to just make sure you are making the most of your sleep. And it's the little half an hours here and there. They make a big, big, big difference. There's a difference between getting 6.5 hours sleep and 7.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Really? Just that extra half an hour?
Yeah. Oh. Well, of course, because it adds up.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. Yeah. 60 plus 30s adds up. Just numbers out there. So it sounds to me, Mark, that you're saying a big part of good sleep is being self-aware of what your body needs and listening to it and doing what it's asking of you, right? Like last night, I was so tired. I mean, I was working until 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh. And I have this internal clock that I wake up at 5:59 every day, no matter what. I went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 5:59, and I couldn't go to sleep. I was just like, and then I closed my eyes, and now I'm like afraid that I'm not going to wake up. And now I'm doing that. I think I'm asleep, but then I think I'm not asleep. And so I felt really, really just exhausted and brain dead this morning.
Yep.
I think if I gave myself more of a schedule, like a routine, just like we do with kids, it's got to work the same for adults, I would assume.
100%. It's one of the things it's one of the first habits I give clients when they start off with me, within like the first week or two, is to build a bedtime routine. And it's literally what I tell them to do. You're going to build a bedtime routine, and it might look a bit silly when you see it on paper, but it is what it is. You have to build. If you struggle with sleep and it's not something that naturally comes to you, because it doesn't come like natural to a lot of people. Like there are like night owls. You've heard that expression. There are people that just naturally won't sleep as early as others, and there's people that will naturally wake up a bit earlier than others. But we can all get to a place where we are able to sleep when we want to sleep. And that comes down to, that's why I said I get people to build a routine, whether it's, right, phone, TV goes off at 10 o'clock, right, I want to be asleep by like 10:30, 11:15, brush your teeth, turn down the lights, read 10 minutes of a book, whatever, listen to a sleep story, whatever it is, just a set of things that you can do then to tell your body and then your mind that, right, it's time to go to sleep, because you need to signal to yourself as well that, right, we're going to start to shut down and start to sleep. So yes, bedtime routines are massive. And yeah, you said it, you do it with kids. So why not do it? Why not do it with people? Be like adults, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm struggling with the kids, but I think maybe if I do my own and, you know, keep it consistent and tell, all right, this is our bedtime routine. That might help. Dude, you just solved a parenting problem for me.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Paper book. I am a Kindle girl. Kindle is a no-no. Is that what you're saying? Like,
No, you can use Kindles because they built Kindles to kind of to have like there's no real glare off them. So
Okay.
I think you're pretty good with that. Yeah.
okay. And does music distract, or is it good to listen to something if that's the type of person you are?
I'm sure there could be some studies out there where people said they've slept better with music, but I don't think it's a good idea from my own experience. And then just from helping clients as well, I can't tell you how many people I've worked with or just work with, to be honest, that tell me they'd wait when they struggle to get to sleep and then they wake up and then they put a podcast on. I'm like, that's and because they think then when they listen to the podcast, they'll doze off. And that's super common, but it's
Like TV, right?
yeah, but it's just one of the worst. It's like one of the worst things you could do because you're stimulating that brain again. You're getting it heightened up, and you want to do the opposite of that. But this is a skill, and like with any of the habits and skills I try to get clients to kind of take on and build, I tell them this is a process. Whether that's like trying to build up to maybe like 9 or 10,000 steps, or training in the gym 3 days a week, going from 1 to 3, or someone starts off 3,000 steps, you don't go straight to 10, you slowly build it up. The same with your sleep, is that it's a process. You have to slowly get better at it, and you have to build up the skill of getting to sleep when you want to sleep. Like when you want to go to sleep, you should be tired. That's the key. You shouldn't be going to bed thinking you could just stay up for another hour or two. Like that's not the position you want to be in. You want to be tired when you go to bed. And that is a skill that takes time if it doesn't come naturally to you. But that circles all the way back to prioritizing it and being aware of it.
This is great. I'm enjoying this conversation. So, Mark, what's next for you? Like, I think you should write a book, but what's next for you?
Well, like I said, I've been coaching for 8 years, almost 9, which in my opinion, I think that's still kind of relatively early for a coach. When it's the same as any career, that's still kind of early-ish. So I still have lots to learn. And like I said, this new coaching service that I'm delivering at the moment is just about a year old. So I'm still ironing out the creases. I'm still trying to see what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, so getting that truly off the ground and running is just what I'm putting all my energy into the moment. And then more of this stuff is just trying to get my kind of name out there and just kind of talk to more people. And like I said earlier on, like my plan is to do some public speaking, get into businesses and just talk to as many people as I can and help out. Yeah, I'd love nothing more than to talk to hundreds and thousands of people each week, just because I know I can help. And there's a lot of people out there that just need a bit of a nudge when it comes to their health. So yeah, that's next on my agenda.
It sounds like you're an introverted extrovert.
Very true. Yeah. The thing is, if you've probably noticed, if I'm passionate about something, I'll talk till the cows come home.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm talking about. That's the difference. That's why, like, you could have 100 questions for me, and I probably wouldn't have to look at them once if they're on topics that I'm like passionate about and I know a lot about. And I'm sure I could say the same for you. Marketing 101. Yeah, you could just talk, and you can always tell by the speed of someone's speech. And I'm like a quick enough talker. I'm Irish, so it's in our nature. But when I'm passionate about something, I'll speak quicker and quicker. But yeah, so introverted extrovert is a good way of putting it.
I was blessed. My 10th wedding anniversary, my husband sent me and my aunt to Ireland. We rented a car, started in Dublin, went all the way down. Basically, it was 8 days, 7 nights of pure happiness. The people in Ireland are just amazing and beautiful. And I actually got to meet someone we believe to be like a distant family member. So I did some research about where my family came from. And man, it's just a beautiful place. If anybody wants to go anywhere, I suggest you go to Ireland, but you have to be not afraid of very narrow roads and very big buses. Oh my gosh. Like I was terrified. These big old buses and the little car, and you either have a rock wall or a cliff. And it's like, I got nowhere to go, and this thing is coming at me. Oh, man.
It's funny. Yeah. No, that's Ireland in a nutshell. But yeah, you won't find a nicer country in the world, nicer people, in my opinion. I'm obviously biased opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Nice punch.
So I asked this for everybody. Who do you feel is the most innovative entrepreneur or somebody who has truly impacted you in your decision to be an entrepreneur?
I would say my clients. I'm like I said, I'm very, very fortunate with who I work with. Like, I work with a lot of very successful people in their industries and their fields, people that I could never have dreamt of working with in the past. So I get a lot from them. Like, I get to ask them advice. I don't really ask them very much because I'm just there to train and coach, and I'm in that position where I could go out for a drink or have dinner with like pretty much all my clients. So we get on all very, very well. But yeah, I'd say them, because a lot of them are doing some awesome things with their businesses, growing, opening up new things. I've just had one client last year that opened, and he was the first guest on my podcast for a few months ago, and he just opened up a new hotel last year in Morocco. And what I seen him go through to open that hotel, because he was pretty much on the building site himself, but he was like just moving furniture and doing everything for months and months and months. We didn't have to be, but he did it because he seen the benefit of being active, and he wanted to move the furniture, and he wanted to move all these things around the hotel because he knew it would actually help. And the thing is, on top of this, he was still working out with me like 4 or 5 days a week, which is just insane. So I see things like that from my clients, and like I could probably say similar stories, not just with hotels, but other instances with a lot of my clients. And yeah, so I would say them. If them as a broad stroke, but yeah, it's kind of hard not.
Nobody has it that way. No. And I actually have like little itsy bitsy tears in my eyes. That right there is an inspiration, and it makes me see things a little differently. And, I always believe in having the right people in the right circle, right seats of the bus.
Yeah.
But I never thought about them being an inspiration for my success. And it's so true.
Yeah. But they're your lifeblood, aren't they? Like, it's like, yeah.
And I care. And I care about their success. So, wow.
Yeah.
This has been such an enjoyable conversation, Mark. Where can people find you so that they can change their lives through healthy habits?
They can find me on Instagram or LinkedIn. They're my two main channels of like social media. And you can just search my name, or Coach Mark Gray on Instagram, or just my name in LinkedIn. Or you can check out my website, which is paradigmproject.uk. Relatively new. And yeah, and then I just, as I always say, it says on my LinkedIn, it's like my DMs are always open for questions, anything health and fitness related.
Slide
all means just, slide in. Yeah, exactly. but yeah, like, as cliche and cheesy as it sounds, like, it's just, I enjoy helping people, or just offering advice, no matter what it is, what it's related on. And yeah, so there you go.
All right. And so your podcast, you were just saying your podcast is the Paradigm Project.
Paradigm Project with Mark Gray, yeah. Like I said, okay. I think I'm 10 episodes in. I had a bit of a hiatus for a month. I was just doing some other stuff. But yeah, I'm about 10 episodes in. And like I said, I think like 70% of them are short snippets, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And it's just to give someone, or to give the listener, like some actionable steps on a certain subject, whether it's like last week was the all or nothing mindset, why that's destroying your health and fitness. I think the week before that was like 10 tips for stress management or something like that. But yeah.
So they can find you on Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible Australia, YouTube, Instagram. There's your Instagram. So it looks like they could pretty much find you anywhere. So it's the Paradigm Project with Mark Gray. And you can find that podcast on anybody. I suggest you check it out and, just like me, I always ask that you like, share, subscribe. I want to bring value to the masses. Your support helps me reach that goal. So if you can like, share, subscribe, comment, ask us questions, ask Mark questions. We'll make sure we get back to you. So Mark, thank you for joining me. Thank you for caring so much about other people that you want to help achieve their dreams. So I adored this conversation. I will make sure all of the links are in the show notes, and I will for sure be subscribing to your podcast, and I cannot wait to grow and learn from them myself.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. That was a very nice conversation. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great episode. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you want more of this goodness, make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications for future podcasts. And if you found value from this, please share it with others. You can visit our website at cwgdigital.com. This is Erica Bailey. I am your host, and I will see you next time.